us today. Welcome to our Maximizing Korean E-commerce Market webinar. I'm speaking from Hyeon Kim's account, but my name is Jinju Lee, and I'm a commercial specialist covering retail sector at CS Korea. Today we have 4 presenters for this webinar, and I'm going to be the moderator as well as the first presenter. I joined the U.S. Foreign Commercial Service in 2014, and my job is to counsel U.S. companies on how to do business in Korea. I hope that you find this webinar informative. I'll go over the Korean market and talk about how important e-commerce is here. Before starting my presentation, I would like to remind you that we'll have a Q&A session at the end of this webinar. So if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them on the chat function. We'll get back to your questions after all the presentations are over. Okay, let's get started. Korea is a densely populated country of more than 50 million people on a land whose size similar to the state of Indiana. Although it's small, Korea has a dynamic economy with a per capita GDP of over 30,000 US dollars, making it the 10th largest economy in the world. Korea is an innovative and competitive country that has historically maintained steady growth. In 2020, however, the Korean economy declined due to the COVID pandemic. Still, the GDP decrease of less than 1% was one of the best figures in the world. Before the pandemic, Korea grew more than 2% annually, and it is expected that Korea will be one of the fast recovering countries after the pandemic is over. The Korean retail industry declined from $319 billion in 2019 to $314 billion in 2020 because of the pandemic, but it's important to note that the industry grew at the rate of 4.1% annually between 2015 and 2019. The Korean retail industry was growing at a higher rate than the GDP, and this demonstrates that the Korean retail industry is fundamentally strong and the Korean consumers have good purchasing power. The growth of the Korean retail industry was driven mainly by the domestic e-commerce. And in the next slides, I'm going to provide an overview of Korean e-commerce market. You may be surprised to learn how fast e-commerce sector has grown in Korea. Between 2016 and 2020, the market grew by 25.2% every year. Even as the retail industry declined in 2020, the Korean e-commerce channel grew significantly. E-commerce is the biggest sales channel in Korea. In 2020, it occupied 43.5% of the total retail industry. Online retailing is for anyone, including the elderly. According to Market Curly, a specialty grocery e-commerce retailer, 25% of newly registered customers at Market Curly this year are in their 50s and 60s, and their average purchasing amount is often higher than their average customers. Everyone in Korea literally has a smartphone and is familiar with online purchases. Online shopping is just so easy and convenient in Korea. Same-day delivery or next-day delivery is common, and consumers can purchase almost everything online. This trend is changing the whole landscape of the Korean retail industry. Many retailers are reducing the number of brick-and-mortar stores. We see less varieties of products available in brick-and-mortar store channel, but more varieties in e-commerce channel these days. The ranking of major retail players is changing consistently. We see lots of companies entering and exiting the market. The Korean retail industry is going through a big transition. Given this volatility, it's important to review your sales and marketing strategies and change them according to the latest Korean market trends. In this slide, you can see the major online retailers in Korea. The 9 platforms in the table are responsible for over 60% of the total e-commerce market in Korea. Naver, that has Naver Shopping on top, generated 17.4% of the total sales transactions in 2020. In addition to these 9 platforms, there are other important e-commerce specialty stores, specialty fashion e-commerce platforms such as Mushinsa, Zigzag, and Ably, and a grocery e-commerce platform, Market Curly, are leading the Korean fashion and grocery market trends. In order to sell your products through these domestic e-commerce platforms, you need a Korean partner or a branch office that has a business registration here. Some platforms have global seller programs for those without business registration in Korea, and Coupang is one of them. And Mr. Gerald Hall will cover this topic, so please stay with us till the end of this webinar to learn more. And these e-commerce retailers provide platforms for distributors to build their own e-commerce sites or to become sellers at the platforms, and they collect sales commission afterwards. Individual sellers can easily create accounts there, so many sellers have multiple accounts at various online retail companies. It's very easy for Koreans to become sellers, so it can be difficult to market products there given high competition. It's important to set appropriate marketing and sales strategies for each e-commerce retailer to be seen by Korean consumers. And this topic will be better covered by Ms. Han in the next presentation. So let's discuss the most recent Korean market trends. In the past, it was common for companies to launch new brands or products through brick-and-mortar store channel first, but these days, it is often the opposite. Food sourcing team managers at department stores often comment that they review Market Curly, a grocery e-commerce platform, to determine their future product selection. Allbirds, an American shoe brand, entered the Korean market in 2020 by opening its own e-commerce site, and then later opened its first brick-and-mortar store in 2021. And some companies choose to sell only through e-commerce channel to reduce overhead cost. If you have a Korean distributor and your distributor is focusing on e-commerce channel only, it can be a savvy decision. According to a recent study by a research company called OpenSurvey, the most frequently purchased items online are clothing, other fashion items, and grocery. It's not surprising that specialty fashion e-commerce platforms and grocery e-commerce platforms are popular in Korea. A few years ago, Korean consumers used to go out for shopping, but these days they don't. Virtual window shopping is more common. During a conference by Samsung Securities in June 2020, a retail sector analyst commented that Korean consumers check online before going out for shopping. Koreans learn the most recent trends from online and virtual resources. OpenSurvey notes that on average, one Korean person uses 6.3 shopping applications and often visit the platforms just to look around. And there are 3 notable resources of information for Korean consumers. They are Naver, Instagram, and YouTube. Surprisingly, Google is not the market-leading search engine, but Naver is in Korea. Korean consumers tend to read blog reviews and check prices searched via Naver. If you're interested in search engine optimization for the Korean market, you may consider doing it on Naver in addition to Google. And in terms of Instagram, OpenSurvey notes that 7 out of 10 Instagram users expressed intentions to buy products posted on Instagram. And among many mobile applications, Koreans spend the most time on YouTube. Many companies, for that reason, are working with influencers on Instagram and YouTube to advertise and sell their products. So as a consumer goods company, you may want to set advertising strategies utilizing Instagram and YouTube for the Korean market. High brand awareness and preference are the key to success in Korea. Korean importers often comment that foreign brands need to build brand awareness and brand preference before entering the Korean market. It may sound counterintuitive, but only those who are popular among Korean consumers can easily find importers in Korea. And cross-border e-commerce can be one of the ways to increase your brand awareness. This is because Korean importers often check e-commerce sites to see if Korean consumers are already purchasing foreign products via cross-border e-commerce. They review e-commerce sites, blog and Instagram postings, and other social media before they import foreign products. Okay, let's have a closer look at cross-border e-commerce market. The Korean cross-border e-commerce market was worth $3.5 billion in 2020. It grew at 21% annually between 2016 and 2020. The cross-border e-commerce market size was comparable to 1.1% of the Korean retail industry in 2020. So, where do Korean consumers buy from? The answer is from all over the world. The world is connected. Korean consumers have traveled a lot and are familiar with foreign brands, products, and culture. Black Friday in the US, Singles Day in China are popular shopping holidays for Korean consumers as well. Korean consumers will buy from any country to get what they want. Right now, the US is the most popular country to source from. Of the $3.5 billion spent by Korean consumers on cross-border e-commerce last year, $1.6 billion was spent to purchase from the US. Although the US occupies the biggest market share now, its market share is decreasing because consumers demand for diversified products, so they purchase more from Europe and China now. Oftentimes, Koreans find that same products sold at overseas e-commerce platforms are cheaper than those sold in Korea, even after adding taxes and shipping and handling cost. It is important to note that you have to set your pricing strategy wisely. If Korean consumers find cheaper deals overseas, they will not purchase your products sold in the Korean market, and you won't be able to find an importer in Korea. Then, what do Korean consumers purchase? According to the Korea Customs Service, Koreans source all kinds of consumer goods through cross-border e-commerce. You can see that dietary supplements were the most popular sourced products by Koreans in 2019, and the majority of dietary supplements was from the US. Koreans also tend to source more cosmetics from Europe and electronics from China. Dietary supplements are often cheaper in the US than in Korea. It actually means that Korean importers of dietary supplements have difficulties in competing with dietary supplements sold at US e-commerce platforms. In the past years, many US dietary supplement companies had difficulties in finding importers in Korea. Now I want to turn to which e-commerce platforms are popular among Koreans. According to a 2018 survey by the Korea Consumer Agency, 9 foreign e-commerce platforms are picked as the most frequently used e-commerce platforms for cross-border e-commerce. If you're a registered seller on any of the e-commerce platforms here, you're already set to meet Korean consumers. Most of them in the table sell a variety of products except for iHerb. iHerb is somewhat specialized for health supplements, and that is where Korean consumers buy the most amount of health supplements from. There are other influential e-commerce sites for specific product categories that Koreans like. Yoox, Net-a-Porter, and Farfetch for fashion, and Sephora for cosmetics. So depending on your product category, it is important to choose the right influential e-commerce sites in order to reach out to the Korean consumers via cross-border e-commerce. Okay, in summary, it's important to understand the Korean market characteristics and develop the appropriate marketing and sales strategies in order to be successful in Korea. Korea has a very unique retail environment. Partnering with Korean importers and distributors with good retail industry networks is crucial to enter the Korean market. And for those who cannot find an importer or a distributor in the beginning, cross-border e-commerce can be a practical way to enter the Korean market. And this is the end of my presentation. And I would like to hand it over to the next presenter, Ms. Young-Ah Han. She's Senior Executive Vice President of SPC Samlip. She's heading corporate strategy, planning, financing, M&A, legal, HR, and new business incubation, including online and global alliance. She will talk about sales and marketing strategies for the domestic e-commerce channel in Korea. Misan, it's all yours.
Okay, great. So hi everyone. Thank you, Jinju. My name is Younga at SPC Samlip. I'm in charge of strategic planning, finance, and new business incubation, including global alliance and online business as Jinju introduced. I'm very happy to have an opportunity to discuss our e-commerce strategy here. Thanks to the US Embassy for hosting this session. So let me briefly introduce SPC Group first. Next slide, please. Next, yes, thank you. So SPC is one of leading food companies in Korea. We are running over 7,000 stores, not only in Korea, but also in various countries such as China, US, Singapore, etc. Our key brand, hope some of you have heard about it, is Paris Baguette, which is #1 window bakery here. We also have strong track record as a successful business partner for global brand. We are operating Baskin-Robbins, Dunkin', Shake Shack, Egglot, and Kraft Heinz here. On top of our store business under Paris Croissant and BR Korea, we SPC Samlip sell bread, salad, ham and sausage, HML, and flour through convenience store, hypermarket, and mom and pop stores. Our accessibility in retail channel is over 90%, as we are #1 in bakery and salad, having over 70% market share. Next slide shows how SPC Group see e-commerce platform. As a consumer brand company, e-commerce is not just about selling product, but it's about securing customer touchpoint. Through various online platform and direct touchpoint, we want to understand consumer behavior more. We want to tell our brand story better, and we want to provide more convenience to our customers. The most important e-commerce channel to us, for sure, is large online retail channels such as Coupang and Marketplace. Would you please click the circle for the online? Yes. As Jinju mentioned, Coupang is the largest online e-commerce player in Korea. For food companies to grow in this channel, logistic innovation is very critical. And this is more true for fresh food like vegetables and bread, sellers, stuff. So major e-commerce retailers are offering the same-day delivery service with excellent temperature control. Coupang is the strongest in this aspect. Marketplace is strong in premium food selection. So we recently signed up with Chobani in US to introduce their Greek yogurt brand into Korea. To launch, actual launching date is tomorrow. So when we launch Chobani brand in Korea, we decide to use Marketplace for the initial buzz place along with top department store in Korea to create healthy and premium brand image as well. Go back to the original slide, please. And the next is large portal company and neighbor. Click the blue circle again, please. Giving Actually, these large portal companies offer relatively weak logistics system comparing to Coupang or Marketplace. However, the brand store in portal site provide more customer data point and analytic tools for us. So based on the customer data Naver offers, we can try more marketing activities in the store comparing to the other e-commerce player. That's why we decided to open our brand store in Naver last year. And I also want to mention TV commerce. TV home shopping, unlike one in US, has been one of the major retail outlets in Korea since early year 2000. The channel sells clothes, food, and even cars and condominium in Korea. There's a lot of trust in this channel, unlike US. So we choose TV home shopping channel when we want to explain our product more in detailed manner through enough airtime and through the professional show host. For example, we recently launched Power Bake Bread. This is very new concept to Korean consumers. So we would like to explain what is the Power Bake Bread, what's the benefit, how to cook this, those kind of stuff. So we choose TV home shopping to get enough explanation time. The problem of TV shopping is a little bit high cost for us. Most recently, we find that live commerce in app is growing very quickly. So they give the similar benefit with TV home shopping at a cheaper cost as well. So you can consider TV home shopping and mobile live commerce when you wanted to introduce some new product, new concept into Korea, I think. So far, I have explained major e-commerce channel, and now I would like to introduce how we utilize the other internet platforms to secure our customers and build our brand. The first is SNS e-commerce, which means mobile gift voucher stuff. Could you please click the circle? The mobile voucher gift, mobile gift market in Korea is pretty much sizable at 2.8 billion US dollar. Interestingly, SPC Group secures more than 20% market share in mobile gift market, simply because we have very intense store channels with very active marketing activities in e-commerce site. Mobile, for each brand point of view, our brand are generating around 10% of revenue from this mobile voucher. And for an ice cream brand we own, actually the contribution is much higher, up to over 30%. This channel is very powerful, especially for younger generation. So you also can consider SNS platform if you wanted to communicate with younger generation customers. Go back to the original slide. Delivery platform. You probably can easily imagine how important delivery platform these days in COVID-19 situation. For bakery stores, delivery accounts for more than around 5% of revenue. Some premium restaurant brand we run, the revenue contribution comes higher to over 20 to 40%, given the recent COVID-19 situation. This is not simply delivery channel. You can use this channel to market your brand as well, because this is a kind of everyday routine for Korean consumers these days. And then I would like to discuss about our membership program. Could you please go back to the original slide? Yes. So we have our own membership program called Happy Point. We have more than 22 million members in our Happy Point membership program, and among them, 12 million are app users. I think I'm very proud of these numbers because considering the fact that in Korea we have only around 50 million population, so penetration ratio is very high, and active users, the ratio is very healthy in this platform. Through this key membership program, for sure, we can secure our customers and they stick on our brand, but we also can get interesting data on consumers' behavior. We understand the areas, a commercial area and the traffic much more. So we can utilize this data for our future marketing, even when we introduce new brand in Korea as well. So this is not only mileage benefit program, this is a very powerful marketing tool for our brand. Lastly, I would like to mention the potential B2B market platform in Korea. This is relatively new. As you see in Coupang and Marketplace and the other retail outlet, B2C e-commerce market has grown up and already is the largest retail format in Korea. It's bigger than hypermarket, it's bigger than convenience store, it's bigger than department store for sure. And I think next year is likely to be B2B market. So to tap the opportunity, we opened our own B2B platform called Chrome at the end of last year. And I became to believe that there will be business potential, stronger business potential in B2B, even though it's a new. So we recently acquired one of the leading B2B platform for bakery and cafe, raw materials and stuffs. So if you own your B2B bulky product on your hand, on your business portfolio, you can consider B2B online platform as well, not only B2C items, I guess. So let me leave up here. I try to give a good kind of good example of the how to utilize e-commerce platform in Korea. And let me leave up here. Thank you so much for listening to this short presentation. If you have any further questions, please feel free to ask them during our Q&A session later. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Han, for your great insights. Let's move on to our next presenter, Mr. Gerald Hall. He's the head of Coupang Global Marketplace. His main responsibility includes acquiring global sellers to expand the global selection on Coupang and building solutions to enable them to sell better through Coupang. Mr. Hall.
Right, thanks. Great. Good evening, everyone. I'd first like to thank the U.S. Embassy Trade Organization for their kind invitation to share more about Korea and Coupang with all of you. Let's talk Coupang. Interesting fact, our company's name is a mix of the English word coupon and bang, which is the Korean sound for hitting the jackpot. Right? And it tells back to our roots when we started off as a Groupon-like company back in 2010. 2015, we pivoted our business successfully into e-commerce. Okay, next slide, please. So, Coupang was founded on the mission to create a world where customers ask, how did we ever live without Coupang? It is our credo and our obsession to wow our customers every day and really is a cornerstone for success. Next slide. So at Coupang, we're focused on building next generation experience for e-commerce. Now, historically, online shopping has forced customers to accept various compromises, right? So, e-commerce is convenient, but you get long and inconsistent shipping times. Or you can get faster shipping, but it's only on a selected selection, or you got to order at certain cutoff times. And you can have delivery. Delivery could be seamless, but then you gotta, you've got all these cardboard boxes that stack up outside your home, and you gotta throw it away, or you also have to deal with the cumbersome return process. So we set out to address all these trade-offs to transform the customer experience. And in doing so, we built an end-to-end integrated system of technology and infrastructure, which drives our ability to deliver really superior customer experience, launch new offerings, and offer very effective merchant solutions. And I'll talk a bit more about that. And the most important thing is that we have developed, our system has been developed in such a way that we can control and tweak every single aspect of that customer journey, from the app all the way to the delivery and return experience, improving our efficiency and really making that the whole experience better for the customer. Next slide. So our strategy and solution paid off, and we're able to achieve scalable growth. We've grown a significant customer base, and we also have a very sophisticated data-driven platform that enables our business. Next slide. So one of the main testament that we're on the right path with our strategy and our investments is our revenue growth. We saw our revenue grow 4 times from 2018 to 2020, whereas most of our competitors remain stagnant. Next slide. Our customer-first, tech-driven mentality has earned us a loyal user base that actually spends more the longer they are with us. I mean, we have about 16 million active customers, so that's about 30% of the Korean population. And that's very significant penetration. And our customers spend more than 3 times the longer they stay with us. So this is proof that we're drawing closer to creating a world where customers can't live without us. Next slide. And so you keep saying, I keep mentioning the word customers, because that's really what we really obsess over that in Coupang. It's our culture. And obsessing on customers means that we provide them the most convenient experiences and the widest selection. So, we pride ourselves in pioneering fast delivery in Korea. At the time, in the market where the fastest delivery was 2 days, we offered 1-day delivery. And when customers experienced 1-day delivery, next day delivery, 2 days just seemed too long. And from that experience, we started improving it better. We offered same day or next morning delivery to really improve that delivery experience. We also have a loyalty program called Rocket Wow, which has exclusive promotions, provide additional cashbacks and no minimum thresholds when customers buy things. And we also made the whole payment experience extremely seamless, maybe sometimes too easy for customers to pay. And that's with our Coupang Coupay, which is our payment solution for customers on our platform. And we also understand that customers want items in a hassle-free way. And so we strive to provide 365-day deliveries, even on weekends and on most holidays. We also provide reusable packaging in over 75% of the parcels we package, so that customers do not have to throw away the card boxes. And on selection, we are continuously improving on that. So we do have a wide selection of consumer goods locally and globally. As Ms. Han said earlier, we also provide fresh food, and we're also in the food delivery business, so that customers who like to eat from their favorite restaurants can get that meal delivered to them. And more recently, we expanded into live streaming video services called Coupang Play. Slide. So before I start talking about Coupang, how Coupang can help you, I'd like to first tell a little bit more about selling in Korea. And this is just to enhance the presentation that Jinju gave earlier on e-commerce market in Korea. So can I have the next slide? So, I think that the key data that you guys should really understand here is the cross-border e-commerce. And, when the latest e-commerce information in 2020, you can see that about 45% of that online overseas spending, of Korean spending overseas, actually coming from the US, right? And it's been increasing 12% year on year over the past 3 years. That's a really good sign for US sellers. Next slide. And one of the highlights that was earlier mentioned was that like dietary supplements, right? And so let me talk more about that. So food is the largest category at 44% of 1.8 trillion Korean won, and it's growing extremely well, 21% year on year. And there's a reason for that. Koreans are extremely health conscious. They like to eat supplements to stay fitter and live longer, and they trust the products from the US, right? You would hardly hear Koreans saying that they would buy a supplement made in China. However, they would buy tea, good quality, high-grade Chinese tea made from China. But when you talk about supplements, protein shakes, vitamins, all that, they would love the U.S. They would love U.S. Products made from U.S., Europe, or even Australia. Okay, and fashion also it is a main category for Koreans normally when they shop overseas. In the U.S., it's number 2. I think that's an area that there's potential for sellers to consider going into. Slide. So if we go into that food cross-border category, the U.S. just dominates it, right? 73% of all food cross-border comes from the U.S. And some of the top brands are like Solgar, Now Foods, Nature's Way, Sports Research, and Yarrow. Next slide. So hopefully that got you excited about Korea, and I think the fact that you guys are here on this call means that you are excited about Korea. So let me share with you how you can get into Korea, how you can start selling in Korea with Coupang. As the head of the Coupang Global Marketplace, my team's goal is to bring the world to Coupang, to bring the world selection. To bring the world to Korea, to bring the world selection to Korea. Slide. So Coupang Global Marketplace is our cross-border business where sellers sell and manage their own stores in Coupang and ship directly to Coupang customers. So on one hand, we have customers who want quality products at a competitive price and quick delivery, and we have sellers who want to expand their business into Korea, but need advice and support to be successful in a new market, right? The new market, new customers, potentially even different languages if you don't speak Korean. And so that's exactly what we're here to do. We're here to help all these global sellers onboard onto our platform and sell effectively. We're here to make sure that their products are reliable, and we're here to help them price their products competitively and to deliver quickly. Slide. So oftentimes I get this question a lot, like what can we sell on Coupang Marketplace? Like almost anything except the key things that I listed here, right? We have 0 tolerance for counterfeits. One strike and you're out. You cannot sell alcohol or medical products either. But if you have more questions about what you can and cannot sell, please reach out to my team, which is myself and my team after the webinar, and we'll be happy to help you offline. Slide. So setting up for a Coupang seller account is quite easy, right? It's free. You just go to the sign up link that I have indicated here, and you can sign up. I will also provide a link to all of the participants after this meeting through the U.S. Trade Embassy. And as mentioned before, Coupang does not require companies to have a Korean domestic business license or even a Korean bank account. So you can set up with your U.S. business, and give us a U.S. bank account, and we'll pay to it. Once you're set up, it takes about 4 to 5 days for us to review your applications, and then you can start listing your products on Wing. Wing is our Coupang seller management portal where sellers can use to manage your orders. Once you start listing, you're ready to sell, right? You don't really have to do advertising because we have a unique item winner system that allows customers to easily find your products, right? And also helps to foster healthy competition between the sellers to provide the best product to our customers. The item winner system is basically, the item winner is basically a product sold by a seller who offers the best price and best customer experience out of all the many sellers selling the same product. We will present the item winner on top of the search result page, which will result in a lot faster sales growth because of the exposure. Slide. So Wing is our seller management portal, and we're quite proud of it, of the improvements that we've had done recently. So basically, Wing allows you to list and modify your products, allows you to monitor your orders, allows you to get useful information, check your sales revenue, find out your seller score, which is rated by customers, and how you deliver to them, right? And it's also available, you can access it on PC or mobile. Now, we're quite proud of Wing because Wing, in the past, Wing was only available in Korean. And so for global sellers who came in, it was a bit challenging for them. They had to either turn on the Google plugin or they had to be like overseas Koreans. But this year we revamped it. It's available in English and Chinese. And so sellers are finding it a lot easier to use our platform. I think we're probably the only few ones in the market that have an English seller management portal to help global sellers sell better in Korea. Slide. So, and then we have different solutions to cater to different business needs. If you're like a sole prop, and you want to sell on Coupang, then Wing would be perfect for you. But let's say you have more complex, sophisticated operations. You want to list your products on Coupang using your own systems. So we would have that solution as well for you. So we have our open APIs, which you can integrate to list your products, manage your orders within your own system. And most importantly, if you're not familiar with Korea, we have set up a Coupang service provider network, which has a list of partners who can help you from many things, from delivering to Korea, translating your content so that they can be easily understood by customers, so that your business runs seamlessly, right? And on top of the SPN service, we also provide account managers, bilingual account managers who can help you better manage your business on Coupang. And if some of you are using marketplace aggregators, we're also working with these marketplace aggregators who, marketplace aggregators are companies that help sellers manage and list on different types of, on multiple marketplaces. So we're working with them. And so you could just import your listings over to Coupang using a marketplace aggregator. So if you need more help about marketplace aggregator support, please reach out to us after the call. Slide. So in addition to the item winner system, we also offer sellers many ways to promote their products, right? For global sellers, we have global selection-specific promotions like Global Day, which we have once every month, and we feature all the top selections from global sellers around the world. We also have Gold Box, which is like our highly discounted promotions to customers. And on top of that, we have different types of advertising solutions, from product ads, from creating your own brand store. So maybe some of you sellers have your own brands, your own products that you really want to introduce and get customers to be aware of. So we have that type of solution for you. We create your own brand store on Coupang. And we recently also started offering live commerce for our beauty category sellers. Live commerce basically is we would provide an influencer who would use your products. Basically, it's a video. It's like video advertising of a person using your product and stream to all our customers. And recently, that's been trending very successfully in Korea. So you don't even need to go get your own influencer and find your Instagram. You could actually just use Coupang Live Commerce, achieve the same results. Slide. So I want to share with you some seller success stories. Over here, we have Hangul Trade. Hangul Trade is a US-based seller. They opened in 2019 and they sold a bunch of stuff from PC accessories, children products, supplements, outdoor equipment, and they are like our top US seller, right? And one of the things that made them very successful is the item winner system, because they don't have to spend too much on advertising, but it really amplifies their products and helps them win, get their products exposed easily to all our customers. Slide. So we also have Japanese sellers here. Over here is one of our top Japan seller by trading, and they were focusing more on camping and sporting goods. And they were surprised that they were able to get their sales so quickly within a short period. They hit their target sales within 5 months. And the key things that they liked that was through the success was the item winner and our delivery system. Slide. Akaso is a very interesting seller. They are based in China and they're a consumer electronics seller, but they also have their own brands. So they're OEM and they also have their own brands, and they were very successful in just using Coupang to promote their Akaso brand on our platform. Slide. Thank you. Next slide. So we're building the future of e-commerce, and we really hope that you would join us to enter Korea and to be successful with us together. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Huff, for great information. Our next presenter is Ms. Cynthia Torres from U.S. Department of Commerce. She's a member of our e-commerce innovation lab, where she helps U.S. companies develop digital strategies that support the cross-border e-commerce sales channel. Cynthia?
Hi, thank you, Jinju. Great information today. As she mentioned, I'm Cynthia Torres. I'm with the U.S. Commercial Service here in the U.S., and I've been working at the e-commerce innovation lab, where we have been developing some strategies and resources to help our U.S. exporters actually make a successful turn into the online sales channel. So I'm going to get right into it, and I think some of my presentation will help answer a couple of the questions that I saw in the chat. So if you go to the next slide. Next slide. Okay, thank you. At the Innovation Lab, we view e-commerce as a sales channel, one that cuts across multiple industries, and it's an opportunity to promote your brand awareness as well as sell your goods and services. I won't read each of these definitions, but for your information on a playback or a review, these are some of the key terms that I'll be talking about, and just want to make sure that you're aware of. Next slide. So at the e-commerce innovation lab and in the commercial service, you'll hear us talk a lot about the digital strategy. And so you're probably asking yourself, what exactly is this digital strategy and why do you need one? This is an excellent summary of exactly why you do need a digital strategy. First off, it helps the stakeholders to really secure the buy-in that's necessary, as well as identify what the wider organizational needs are around your own digital footprint and your own digital needs in-house. Through that process, it allows you to identify where those budget commitments are going to be taking place and to what extent. Collectively, it offers the team clarity around the purpose of what your organizational goals are for your digital engagement. And ultimately, it also helps the group to keep accountable, both to each other and to the organization, and moving that process forward. So you'll meet milestones along the way. And in all of this, it's going to keep you very competitive with the way business is being conducted today. All of which combined is going to lead you to really improving that customer acquisition and retention that you're after. Next slide. Thank you. So just as we've been helping companies to export their American-made goods and services in the offline environment for 40 years now, we're celebrating, this is the process that we've established to really help our U.S. exporters to start to get some traction and move forward with developing their digital strategy. We're going to take a quicker look into each of these categories, but certainly defining your objectives, followed by search engine optimization, and really understanding what your back-end infrastructure's needs are going to be, and then what that channel mix looks like for you. And that's where these e-commerce marketplaces will fall into line. And then making sure that right from the beginning, you have some key performance indicators established so you're able to benchmark your own success. Next slide, please. So in step one, defining your objectives, I just want to focus on some of these top 3 bullets here. We work with a lot of companies that are relatively new to the space or maybe haven't considered some of the issues that we're going to bring up here. And the first thing in defining your objective is really understanding what type of website your company has. Are you a transactional company that has a website who's facilitating transactional commerce? Or are you really using your website as an informational site? And the difference between the two is, simply put, if you are utilizing a shopping cart, you have a transactional website. If you are utilizing your site to convey information about your product line or your company, and there's a call to action that would trigger the one-to-one conversation and negotiations, then you have an informational site. Both types require a digital strategy to fully be optimized and leveraging that #1 digital asset that you have in your own company. The third bullet there is what we're talking about today, your online marketplace and your storefront, which is a little bit different, but very important to understand if that's going to be part of your dynamics in your whole marketing package. Next slide, please. So in this slide, this is just basically a visual representation of what I just described. We don't need you to spend too much time on it, but if you just follow the flow of the transactions and the information flow and the customer journey, if you will, this is just that visual representation of how each one is slightly different. Whereas the one on the right-hand side, the informational site, you'll see in the middle there, that call to action, fill out this form, complete or download this white paper, enter your email address, may be the thing that triggers that salesperson in-house that will reach out to you for follow-up. Next slide, please. Okay, step 2, we refer to this as your digital cornerstone, and it's really talking about search engine optimization. And the easiest way to consider this and why this is important is, simply put, if you can't be found in a search, in a Google search or any other search engine around the globe that may be used, you can't make sales, right? So our second step here is really to make sure that your website is operating at its optimal performance vis-a-vis the Google algorithms, if you will, since they dominate most of the global search traffic, and what those bots are searching for, so that you do rank on their search results. And those take into consideration the links that you're using, the keywords that you're using, and the links that you're connected to, including the social media sites, and then certainly if you're optimized for voice commands and a few other things. Next slide, please. So some of you may already be doing this or think that you are doing this. It's certainly not something that you do once and leave alone. The e-commerce today and all of your digital assets are kind of evolving on a regular basis and are constantly needing to be monitored. So the commercial service now has a new service where we can help you review your website, called the Website Globalization Review Gap Analysis, where we will take an analysis and a snapshot of how your website is operating right now today. And what we do is we combine both our institutional knowledge around what's desirable to foreign buyers, coupled with 2 different search web crawlers, and combine it all and present the information to you. There's a lot of information that's revealed here, just the overall performance of your links, again, the efficiencies of your keywords, and it shows you what you're doing well and maybe surprisingly where you thought you might be doing well but might be underperforming, or vice versa. So it's a really good diagnostic tool to give you a sense of where you are at this very moment. And if there's any tweaking that you need to do with your metadata right on the front end before you start investing in some of those overseas strategies, so make sure that everything is working at its optimal performance. We also have a recruitment and an ecosystem of service providers. If you need some technical assistance, that's when we would point you in our service provider directory. And it's great to hear that Coupang also has a network in country as well. Next slide. Okay. The third step is really just taking a step back and looking at what your own back-end infrastructure is requiring in order to set yourself up for long-term success in the online channel. And these are just two data points that we pulled from market research. The first one on the right, or I'm sorry, on the left, is really kind of showing where some of these investments on the back end were being made back in 2016, investing in platforms and then integration and the development of mobile apps, whereas we fast forward to 2019, companies were starting to make investments in the cloud-based services, artificial intelligence, and the Internet of Things, and several other. Blockchain is a little bit further down, but as it develops, you'll probably see that move up. So this is what we mean by back-end infrastructure. What is it that you are, your goals are for back-end integration and how your operation is going to perform in this online environment. Next slide. Okay, so step 4 is really taking a good look at the marketing channel mix within the online environment. And so we've identified these 4 areas where people are able to sell through the online channel, obviously starting with your website that we just talked about, figuring out if you're going to integrate social media and leveraging social media to amplify your marketing messages. And then one that often gets overlooked is the in-country third-party, your already existing distributor network in-country. If you haven't done so already and you have in-country distributors, start having the conversation around what they're doing with their own digital presence in-country. And maybe there's something that you can piggyback off of, or maybe you can collaboratively work to develop that amplification through that existing distributor network. And then the fourth part of this channel mix is, again, talking about the e-commerce marketplaces such as Coupang and others around the globe, and really whether or not you're going to make that part of your channel mix. For Korea, it obviously sounds like this is the way to go. And so we just want to make sure that we are here to help you get best positioned and work with you to go to market through this channel and then celebrate your success. Next slide, please. Okay, so in an effort to actually help you, if you go back, please, if in an effort to help you do that, we are here across the United States. We have U.S. Export Assistance Centers staffed with trade specialists who help you to navigate the overseas markets, both in the on and offline environment. And so if you are interested in onboarding to Coupang and entering the Korean market, we encourage you to take a moment and fill out this expression of interest form. And what that will do for you is it will send us a message and we will reach out to you with your local trade specialist in your own backyard. And that will start the conversation and help you to tap into the existing resources within the commercial service. You'll receive a digital readiness assessment. All of this is free of charge. We can give you some upfront market intelligence that will help support what you heard today, and then explore the website globalization review if that's something you're interested in. It's not a requirement whatsoever, and then hand you off to our colleagues in CS Korea for that assistance with onboarding with Coupang. That way you're going to get the full circle of support, and any questions, and both on the Korean side and in the US side, you will have a network of people prepared to help and assist you. Next slide. Step 5, and the last step in this process is really just identifying what your key performance indicators are going to be if you haven't done so already. There's a whole universe of KPIs out there, and if we go to the next slide, you really as a company need to decide what is important to you. But on this next slide, we've identified these two, which are fairly universal and speak to your bottom line, and that's going to be tracking your conversion rates, and that takes into consideration the amount of people coming to your website, as well as the digital marketing return on investment, which can be applied to specific marketing campaigns or for a set period of time around a product line. So either one of these is what we recommend just in general, but there are many, many others, and we can actually have a report that identifies some of those for you as well. Next slide, please. This is just really to share with you. If you go to trade.gov/ecommerce, we have a number of resources on this public-facing website. And if you're new to this dialogue around digital and the e-commerce sales channel, we have about 5 videos that are good starters to try to introduce you to the concepts that you need to be considering. Next slide. And thank you very much. My contact information is there for you at cynthia.torres@trade.gov if you have any questions, and I will be here for the question and answer session. Jinju, back to you.
Thank you, Cynthia, for your great presentation. Now we'll move on to our Q&A session, and I would like to thank everyone for leaving great questions on the chat function. And I see that many of you want to receive the PowerPoint slides after this presentation. I'll be able to share some of them, not all of them. The bottom line is this webinar is being recorded, and in a few days, I'll send you a link with the recording of this webinar, so you will be able to review it again. Okay. Go back to the chat. So we've received questions on the chat function, so I will review some of them and direct questions to the appropriate person here. What is classified as fashion items, cosmetics, TY? This question is from Simplex. Fashion items refer to shoes, bags, and other accessories. The next question. How does the KFD handle the importation of dietary supplement which may not comply with KFDA regulation? This is very important. That's very true. Not every product from the States can enter the Korean market. Generally, health supplements and medicines with certain ingredients and functional cosmetics are not allowed to enter the Korean market. For example, a prescription is needed in order to buy melatonin products in Korea. So a purchase of melatonin through cross-border e-commerce is prohibited. And the use of cannabidiol is totally prohibited in Korea. So attempts to buy cannabidiol-containing products are considered as violating the Korean law. So it's important to monitor the Ministry of Food and Drug Safety website to see the full list of prohibited items, and the list is updated on a regular basis. So on MFDS website, hazardous foreign food, medicine, cosmetics, and medical equipment are noticed on a regular basis. If you send me a more specific question, I can direct you to a healthcare supplement specialist in our office, and he will be able to answer better. Okay. The next question is also related to dietary supplements, and I hope that I answer the question. And yeah, please feel free to email me, and depending on your question, I'll direct you to a right commercial specialist here.
Sorry, Hayoung, I just want to add a little bit more to that. So when it comes to sending like food products, supplements, the custom regulations in Korea also, you can go to the customs website, and they also tell you what are things that would be allowed. Some things to note are sometimes that the bottle limits, right? So if a customer is buying directly online overseas, there's a limit to how many bottles of vitamins they can take. They're allowed in that package, in that order on a daily basis. If they go over that order, then that item actually gets stuck in customs. That can be a source of returns for you as well. So these are some of the things that you need to consider. I mean, the product is okay, it's approved, but it's more about the quantity that is allowed by the consumer in Korea to order from overseas. Those are some of the considerations as well.
Thank you, Gerald. Okay, our next question is from Michelle Benjamin. Please reference jewelry as a category for selecting e-commerce retailers selling from US to Korea. Although Net-a-Porter is not a US e-commerce platform, I would say Net-a-Porter is the most influential e-commerce platform for fashion and jewelry. Okay. Okay, the next question is in regards to dietary supplement. What are the steps a U.S. Hawaii company can take to initiate e-commerce sales into Korea? Does this health anti-aging supplement product need to go through a rigorous FDA or health ministry process? And if so, if you know, how long will that process take? Any one of you on the speakers panel be able to assist us, and how might you be able to assist us with stepping into this e-commerce platform into the Korean market? You don't need to go through an approval process for KFDA if you want to sell through e-commerce, cross-border e-commerce. However, it doesn't mean that your product is guaranteed to enter the Korean market. So send me your email with the description of your product. I'll direct you to a health supplement commercial specialist so that he can answer your question. Okay, the next question is for Gerald. Is Coupang available as an API on Shopify.com?
We're working on that right now. Short answer, no, but something that should be coming soon. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. What about shipping from the US, and what is the fastest option for delivery? Are Korean shoppers expecting delivery within X number of days? If so, how many, and how is this accomplished? I'll direct this question to Gerald. For cross-border e-commerce, how can you help the US companies to reach out to the Korean consumers in terms of logistics?
So we have a variety of logistics partners that we work with, and these are logistics partners that specialize in the U.S. to Korea corridor. Typically they're usually run by Korean-owned, companies who have been doing this for a long time now. So we can introduce that to you. So the fastest you would be able to deliver from U.S. to Korea would be 3 days. And that's usually by air, right? And so when it comes to the expectations of buying things overseas, and Korean customers are accustomed to, they can accept that it will take longer to get something overseas than it is locally. So at the end of the day, if it's cheaper, if it's a better quality product, or if it's something that they cannot find locally, they'll be willing to go and order something, even though it takes 3 to 5 days. But if that item is going to take like a month to get there, then it's going to be the conversion for your product would be lower, right? So you have to balance. As a seller, you need to think about the cost to deliver something there quicker in order to get a higher conversion versus getting it slower. I mean, saving money to get it there longer, but people may not be interested to buy your product because it takes too long.
Thank you, Gerald. And for the delivery in the domestic market, thanks to Ms. Han, she answered it very clearly. I'll read it out. Coupang, Market Curly, SSG all provide same-day delivery. For example, if a customer orders a produce before midnight, he or she can receive the product at around 6 or 7 a.m. in the morning. for TV home shopping, it usually takes 1 to 2 days. In addition to this, I can address the general trends in the Korean retail industry. Fast delivery is the hottest topic in Korea now. So although retailers are investing extensively in establishing new fulfillment centers and partnering with new startups in the logistics industry. So same day or next day delivery is guaranteed for many of the Korean retailers. Okay, and the next question. If you can introduce one product or product category which is high demand ongoing and profitable good product from US to introduce to South Korea, I would say health supplement, but Gerald, can you add your opinion?
Yeah, health supplements, that's definitely very easy to sell, but also very competitive, right? Because everybody is trying to sell the same brands. Unless you got a unique product that's a unique supplement. I think apparel is good, sporting apparel, shoes, outdoor equipment, that's also quite a popular category. And children's products. So you have to be careful because usually children's products require KC, which is Korean certification. It's like a safety standard that the Korean government has put in place to make sure products are they work as intended, they don't harm the consumers. So usually those children products may require some kind of certification, and there's a cost to that. But then again, children products from overseas are quite attractive as well.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, what site do we check for cosmetic regulations? This should be answered by another commercial specialist covering cosmetics, so please send me an email. I'll direct you to right specialist. And the next question, can you please forward details to KFD specialist? Yes, please send me your email. I'll introduce a commercial specialist responsible for healthcare. And the next question, for a trade firm in the US that works with agricultural suppliers in the US to sell to Coupang or other GS site, what is high-level process and timeline to list? Would exclusive right to a product or brand be required? Does Coupang or GS purchase and resell? This question should be answered by Gerald.
Okay, so the business model that the Coupang global marketplace business model is slightly different. It's not like it's not a B2B model. So Coupang is not buying your product, putting it in our warehouse, and delivering to customers. We're a platform. The marketplace model basically means that you can sell whatever you want through our platform. So you have to do the delivery. So from that perspective, we don't have exclusivity type of arrangement for sellers. If you sell authentic products, then you're welcome to join our platform.
Thank you. The next question is, who can help us in selling our cosmetic skincare products in South Korea? We are interested in the South Korean market. Again, please send me an email. I'll direct you to another commercial specialist covering cosmetics. And the next question. How open is the Korean e-commerce to handcrafted artisan products? I think, Gerald, can you answer this question?
I don't have the data on hand to share it with you, but I think it's all I can say is that we have a platform for you to try, sell, and see if it works. So
Okay, thank
hope
you.
that helps.
So the next question: are there any glam bag boxes that Koreans like in that market? Is it a thing? I think you can take advantage of this opportunity to test your product. There's nothing to lose to list yourself or your products on Coupang and see how Korean consumers respond. Okay. And the next question. Should find storage in Korea for product. Can you help? I think this should be answered by Gerald again. Okay.
Yeah, so we have some service providers, logistic partners, especially who can provide storage in Korea for your products. So we can definitely connect you to those guys if you're interested. You don't necessarily need it to run your business, but it helps.
Right. Thank you. And the next question is, selling shelf-stable food not mentioned. Is this a good market? Gerald, can you answer this question again?
Selling shelf-stable food. Well, so what can you define what shelf-stable food is? And the definition of that. Talking about preserved products. So generally we do allow food products to be sold. We just have to make sure that if the item requires refrigeration, then we are a bit more sensitive about that. If it requires refrigeration and you don't have any cold chain capabilities, then you should not be selling it because people will get sick when they eat your product. Right? Jams, that's not a problem.
Okay, I hope that Gerald answered your question. So the next question is, what is the commission rate for sales on Coupang? Gerald again?
It ranges from 4 to 11%, depending on the product categories that you sell. And you will only be charged upon a successful sales.
Right. Then how much is VAT? It's 10% in Korea. The next question. KFDA has among the strictest regulations. How does Coupang Global adapt to meet regulations while doing cross-border or rocket service? Do you overlabel? Do you register products? Gerald?
So the Coupang Global Marketplace, as I mentioned earlier, is basically a B2C model, right? So what it means is the way the Korean government looks at this is that it's a direct import by the consumer. That means the seller doesn't actually need to have like Korean labels on it. However, if the product is something that requires KC certification, for example, because it is one of those required products, then it needs to have that KC mark on that label for it to be sold. So we do have a guide for sellers to tell them, okay, what type of products require KC. I mentioned earlier, like if you're selling children products below, children here is defined as anything below 14 years old, and you're going to need to have you need to do KC safety checks on those products. If you have electronics that have like a battery inside, right, that could explode, then you're going to need to do some KC checks on that as well. So we do guide sellers on what products need to get KC checked, and we also have KC certification agencies that can help you get these products certified, and they're also based in the States, so you don't have to worry about language and all.
Thank you, Gerald. Our next question is for SPC Samlip. Your new B2B platform, what type of companies would be a good fit for your platform? Ms. Han?
Thank you. So our new B2B platform, the largest product is dairy product like a butter, cream, cream cheese, those kind of product. And also the flour, specialized flour like a nutrition edition, premium French flour, those kind of thing is also very popular. Also like a chocolate couverture, those kind of specialized item, the bakery, that's very that revenue account for more than 60 to 70% of our revenue. So if you have any dairy product which is important, which is in raw material for bakery or coffee stores, coffee shops, like a coffee bean or any beverage base or frozen dough, those kind of things are very good item for B2B product on our B2B platform.
Thank you, Ms. Han, for the answer. In addition to that, I have additional question for you. We learned that SPC Samlip is a partner of many foreign brands and products, and when adopting new brands and products from foreign countries, what are the most important factors that affect SPC's decision?
Oh, I see. So probably the reason why our foreign partners choose us as a partners for Korea and also Asia, I think that we have a strong presence in offline stores, but also we have a very high accessibility in all the offline retailers as well as online retailers, and we know how to build brand equity. We care about brand equity for sure, so that's why we choose. And when we select our partner, when we consider our global partners for Korea business, the precondition for sure is that the quality, we care about the quality, even raw material ingredients, and the brand equity for sure. It's a kind of precondition because we have a very strict rule for quality control here. More specifically, we wanted to make a partnership for packaged food section because we are strong in bakery, but we wanted to grow up further as an integrated food company in the future. So anything about packaged food like a Chobani or Kraft Heinz, we are very happy to work with together. And as I said, because we have very strong demand for all the raw material for the bakery and coffee shops, we have a captive demand as well, and we now ready to distribute the product to the outside clients through our online B2B, and also we also do logistic service to a lot of franchise stores, more than 9,000 franchise stores outside of our group. So if you have some items to sell to various bakery, coffee shop, or other restaurants, I think that we wanted to be exclusive distribution partners for you. And lastly, we have high interest on the food tech, eco-friendly package, those kind of stuff. Our group is aggressive in all the ESG move here. So we are actively introducing food tech, eco-friendly package. And lastly, if we can grow together in Asia, not only in Korea, we wanted to build up Asia expansion strategy together. So that's kind of key criteria when you consider foreign partners to grow together with us.
Thank you, Ms. Han. I think we answered all the questions on the chat function, and I think it's time to wrap it up. So thank you everyone for joining us today, and I especially want to thank Ms. Han, Mr. Hall, and Ms. Torres for providing us useful information. And I hope that you learned a lot today. As I mentioned, we'll send you a link with a recording of this webinar in a few days, along with the market report and a questionnaire. If you're interested in becoming sellers at Coupang, please click on the link that Cynthia provided on the chat function and fill out the form. We'll get back to you later. And also, if you have any questions, you can contact me anytime via email, jinju.lee@trade.gov. So, okay, this is the end of our webinar, and have a great day.